So it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks since I installed the stairs, mainly because of weather and I'm back at work. And this weekend's probably the first good weekend weather we've had since then. And I've got to replace the hardwood uprights at the landing and the stairs that had rotted. So I'm coming up to Mitre 10 at Katoomba because they actually sell large dimensional hardwood, unlike Bunnings. I've never been to this place before. Always good. Try a new place, especially when they sell what you want. And they did say that they will cut it to differing lengths as long as the stuff that's left over is still saleable, because they have it in 6 metre lengths. I need things that are shorter than that. The van's not long enough to do that. And the pieces that I need don't need to be that long either. So it'll be interesting to see what this place is like and get the stuff.
Turn right onto Magdala Street.
And get the stuff I need. That's interesting. As I said, never been here before. It's not massive, but it's actually built on 2 different sites. I noticed another building that said trade, which was on the other side of a little creek with a walkway bridge. But that's apparently where all the timber is. Oh, there's the new Bunnings. Yeah, so I've just had to come out the driveway, go out, go into their news section so I can go and get their hardwood building timber. See if I can find where a close enough parking spot is. Well, that was good. I kind of forgot that most of the major towns in the mountains have their own industrial zone, and that's where Mitre 10 was, in Katoomba's little industrial zone, which is in the gully before you get to town. At first, I asked the guy if I could pick through the timber because I wanted to make sure I had good straight stock, and he was a little bit iffy until I just started picking through it anyway. And it didn't take long. I only needed 3 lengths, and thankfully they fit in max without having to hang out any windows or anything, because I've now just got to duck into town and grab a few things from the grocery store while I'm up here, save making an extra trip at another time. So here's my new timber for the posts. One of these, 4.2 long, which is a 3x4, is heavier than one of these 2x10s that is a bit over 4.6 long. So I'd like to know what the species is. Looking at the end, it looks like it could be Sydney blue gum, maybe. Oh no, blue gums are really red. That one could be. Or red gum. Whatever, they're heavy, but I did manage to get good straight pieces, which is important. So this timber is rough sawn, so I'm gonna skip plane it with the electric hand plane first. Pretty happy that my saw made it all the way along that long piece, but I'm a bit worried because it's starting to smell towards the end, like a burning smell in the motor. So
But I got all the other stuff milled, so I'll be able to use that tomorrow. That's all nice and clean. And this bit's to go between the stairs and the wall. Hope I didn't ruin us all. Smells a bit burnt and it's very hot. Check it again in the morning. I don't want a chance to start it up now. Not sure on the actual horsepower of this one. It's a 1500 watt and we run on 240 volt 10 amp circuits here. I know my little table saw worked out to be about 2.6 horsepower, which is just a 2000 watt one of these, drawing 8 amps. Okay, so you can see what's happened here. The previous owners, builders, whatever, have got the stirrup for the post, which is here. They've concreted the post in, or they bolted it in, and then they put concrete all around it. But then the soil was built. The soil was built all up around this concrete post because the dirt was like right up at here. And so with all the water and rain coming through, the bottom of this post is actually rotted out, which is a good idea that I'm replacing it. I've had to do it on some of the ones at the back of the house too, for the decks. But the bottom of this stirrup is right down here. So I'm going to be using the grinder with a diamond oil. I'm going to cut the concrete away because this is a good concrete pad, but I need to make sure that I can get down to the bottom of the stirrup so that the new post can sit right in the base of the stirrup for security and strength reasons. So I'm going to dig all this soil out a bit so that I can actually cut the concrete down to the base, and that way I won't have the issue of water pooling up around the bottom of these. I had to do that with the stairs too, now that I think about it. One of the posts was basically below grade, and so the bottom of the post was rotting out. And I need to be able to get to these holes here to be able to put new bolts through and everything, so I've got to take all this concrete out, but I'm going to cut it with that diamond wheel so I don't risk weakening the concrete by just belting it with a cold chisel and hammer. checked my measurements for these, for the notches to hold the landing. This one was slightly out, so I've remarked that, and it's actually, I'm going to be taking it out as a notch rather than a whole rebate or piece across. That way I'm maintaining a lot more strength, integrity in the beam, or in the post I mean. So I've got to have to do a few cuts here and chisel it out. First joint done. I will say that was actually kind of fun. This is one of the joints that I have to teach my students, and they have to do successfully to achieve competence as part of their construction cert 1 and 2. They don't have to do it in hardwood though, they're doing it just in construction pine. But it was good to actually do one of these little stopped housings, and I'm glad my chisel is fairly sharp. On to the second one. I might actually get a force in a bit and see if I can drill some of that out rather than doing so much chiseling. So when I went to get my new post set up in here, I discovered that this stirrup is actually an inch further away from the wall than the stirrup for the other post. I put the old post back in and saw that it was, it wasn't plumb, it was leaning. And I couldn't do that with the new post.
and I couldn't move it out this way to fit into here because it wouldn't line up with the other post. So I had another stirrup. I'm going to grind these off and then drill through it and then drill down into the concrete, and I just had to run down to Bunnings to buy some Dynabolts for actually bolting this to the block, to the concrete, so that I can actually move it back a full inch. But once I've done that, at least the post will go in. I'll have to shorten the post a little bit, but the other bonus is that this stirrup will lift the bottom of the post up off the ground, so I don't have to worry about the bottom of this post rotting like the old one had. about Bunnings as a timber yard is it's indoors, and when it's raining it makes it easier to select and collect your timber, so that you just drive into the building.